All right, folks, just jumping in. Just make sure you guys mute yourself. We'll get started here in about 60 seconds. All right, so let's get started, guys. Folks are still kind of jumping in, but we can go ahead. I know it's 11:02. So thanks for joining. Thanks for hopping on. We're going to be going through some really good stuff today, more specific, of course, around Google Local and how to improve your presence online. Not as much in the general search results, but more specific to Google Maps, right? I think we're all pretty familiar with the layout now with Google search pages or search results pages. And often with local intent keywords, what are we doing as agents to make sure that we're showing up in Google Maps for local targeted keywords? Individuals, prospects going online and, typing in local targeted keywords, homes for sale, Virginia Beach, homes for sale, Newport News, Norfolk, Virginia, homes for sale, anything with local intent, right? And that's sort of what triggers the Google Maps, which we're going to go through today. That Google Maps section that you see is all powered by your Google My Business profile. And so we're going to touch on some of the setup to that. So I know there's quite a number of you that maybe haven't started your Google My Business page. Maybe you don't know where to go to start. So we're going to walk through a couple steps there. And then I know there's a lot of you out there too that already have a page or a Google My Business page and it's showing up. But you want to learn more about optimizing it and how to make it rank better, right? How to increase its visibility to hopefully generate more traffic, which leads to more calls and more business for you. So for those who don't know me, I'm Matt Langen. I'm the founder of Grow Agent Grow. We have a team that helps agents across the country really specialize in anything from website building to landing pages to social media management to lead gen, SEO. So again, Google Local. And I'm also the managing partner here at Swell Real Estate. We're a residential real estate firm based out of Virginia Beach. So I actually got into, and quick little reminder as well, the sound is not on. Can you all hear me? Maybe put a little message or something. Somebody just messaged saying they can't hear. Or somebody just shout out, take yourself off mic, make sure. Okay. Thanks, Christina. All right. Awesome. Not sure who that is. The sound is not on. Maybe check your system settings to see if you're not muted or speakers are turned on. I'm not quite sure, but it looks like everybody else can hear just fine. So, and then on that, for any questions throughout this training, guys, just put a little message in the message box there, and I'll do my best periodically throughout the training to check that. And if there's anything that kind of requires more in-depth conversation, then we'll save that for after. I'll share my contact information as well. So yeah. So anyways, that's a little bit about on me. I entered the real estate vertical specifically from a marketing standpoint. I worked at Dominion.
Is she here? Not yet. Okay, I'll wait out here because I'm gonna
make sure you guys mute yourself, please, if you haven't already. Thank you. And that's where I got into real estate, was helping local agents with their online presence, digital marketing, And that's where I'm at now. So let's, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so search engine optimization, SEO. You're going to see this term come up quite often here. For those who don't know what SEO is, it just stands for search engine optimization, meaning what are you doing in the Google results, Yahoo results, Bing results to make sure that your website is showing up when somebody searches a specific targeted keyword. Us as agents, you know, hot terms that are going to come up, of course, homes for sale, with some specific location keyword behind it. Okay, so that's essentially what we're doing with SEO. We're looking at ways to improve our search engine presence on Google. So when people are trying to find us or search for a realtor or agent, that your Google My Business page is showing up in those local targeted search results. All right. Now, when we talk about SEO for local, we're talking more specific to location authority. And that's what we speak to. Location authority, meaning what are we doing in Google Maps to increase our business listing so people can find us. So Google My Business listings appear whenever Google infers that the intent of the search is local. Right. So, you know, we've all done the search online. Maybe we're looking for a hairdresser or we're looking for a, you know, a restaurant. And we always have some type of local keyword that we're inputting. And that is where it's going to trigger the Google Maps. All right. Some more general searches, you search online, you know, red Nike t-shirt or something more specific or general, you're not always going to get the Google My Business pages that show up. This is all specific to location authority, right? The better we make that, the stronger we make our location authority, the higher you're going to rank. And that's what we're going to go through today is how can we increase and better improve our location authority as agents, specifically with our Google My Business page. All right. So one of the first things I want to do with you guys is take the test. All right. For those who haven't done this before, it's always a good idea to kind of start and draw a baseline, see where you're at right now, how you rank, what your visibility is like. One of the easiest ways to do that is go to Google. All right. And just up in the search bar, type in your name, first name, last name, followed by realty. Okay. Or, you know, so kind of see what's showing up when you put in Mike Jones Realtor, Mike Jones Realty, right? You can also add a location identifier beyond that, all right, behind that. So Mike Jones Realtor, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Okay, Mike Jones Real Estate Agent, Virginia Beach, Virginia. So try and go to Google and just see what shows up. See what your visibility looks like now. Hopefully, what the case is you have a Google My Business page, all right? And when you do perform that search, you can see your listing off there to the right side, all right? So that's gonna trigger Google based on the search query to serve you with that specific listing. So if you're putting in your exact name followed by realty, followed by some type of location identifier, whatever 7 cities you live in or outside, you should be showing up, right? Now, if you perform that search, Mike Jones Realty, okay, or Mike Jones Realty, Virginia Beach, Virginia, and nothing's showing up as far as you might have some, maybe your realtor.com profile or Zillow profile and some of those general website directories show up in the main search results page. But if you don't see any Google My Business page show up, which typically you see that off to the right, you'll have like a biopic, some of your contact information, reviews, things like that. Then we have some work to do, right? You most likely don't have one set up, and we got to get that set up. All right. The third bullet here, standing in the listing versus outside. So what I mean by that is when you guys create a Google My Business profile, and we'll get to that here in just a second, you're going to, of course, need to input an address. All right. I personally, of course, as agents, we don't want people knowing our personal address. So a lot of times we use our brokerage's address. All right. Or if you have your own location somewhere, then you can use that, right? A professional address. When you perform this test, try doing that standing also within your office. All right. So if you're at home right now, you could still try this and see what happens, but then also go into your office and perform the same test. All right. And look at the results difference between standing in your listing, the address that Google has on file, compared to being outside the listing. And just, take a pulse for kind of the variances there and what's going on. So, essentially what we're trying to do with this test is determine where do we stand right now? Okay, do we have some improvement to do? What's showing up right now when we perform this personal test? And again, if nothing's displaying, if we don't have a Google My Business page showing up for a personalized search like that, then we need to get something set up. And then if you already have something showing up, that's good. Take a look at that. If you haven't looked at your Google My Business page in a while, we'll get into that here in a second too, just to kind of go in and look at some further optimization tools we can do. But the big part, if you do have a listing, compare the results when you're standing in your office address compared to maybe being at home or somewhere else. Another thing that takes effect here is personalized search. All right. So a lot of times when you're searching for yourself, Google picks that up and they're going to continue to serve you with the most relevant information, really your own website, your Google My Business page. So you're going to see that you tend to show up higher, right, when you're performing these tests or these searches. And that's just because Google picks up, you're constantly on your site. Maybe you're logged into your Gmail if you use Gmail, or your Google profile. And so they're going to favor you, over others. But we want to see something pure, right? No fat, or no influence in terms of that with personalized or personalization. So log out of your Google profile, drive 5 minutes down the road and perform the same test and just see what goes on. You want to see what other people are seeing. Searchers who have no understanding or haven't searched for you at all. We want to kind of get a base for that. All right, so some of the three key factors, I call them the 3 R's when it comes to looking at your Google My Business page, and what are the big factors that are going to influence your ranking when somebody does search and they're trying to find a local agent. What is Google looking at to determine your placement? Radius is the first one. The radius is the searcher's proximity to your Google My Business's business address, okay, or specified service areas. All right, so this is pretty straightforward. All right, you put in your address is 100 Main Street, okay, Norfolk, Virginia. That's your location. If Google sees that somebody's looking for an agent within that location or around there, they're going to favor those with that based on the radius, right? They want to serve they want to serve their users, okay, with the most relevant information. Relevancy here dealing with radius. They want to serve their consumers with somebody who's close to them. They're looking for an agent in Norfolk, close to 100 Main Street. All right, well, then they're going to look at your profile, look at your address, and that's what they're going to serve them with. So radius is a big one. Now, of course, radius doesn't help us for other areas that we service. If we service the entire Hampton Roads and you're based in Virginia Beach, well, you're only going to have one address there in Virginia Beach. That's really not going to favor you, let's say, in Hampton, okay, if somebody's searching for Hampton. But we'll go through some ideas and some workarounds for that. But radius is a big one. They're going to favor based on the location of that search, where your address is. Reviews. All right, we talk about it all the time. Reviews, right? We send them to Facebook. There's Zillow out there. There's Realtor.com. There's a lot of review sites, but we can't get away from Google. All right. I don't know how many out there that constantly look at increasing your Google reviews, but that's certainly a big factor into your Google ranking. All right, your Google My Business ranking. So quantity, so of course the number of reviews, the quality of those reviews, and the big one is frequency. All right, so a lot I see agents out there, they kind of get in the habit of doing this, and then it's crickets for 6 months to a year, and then they go back into it. You want to get in the habit of constantly generating reviews after each closing. Periodically going in there and trying to generate more information, more reviews to your site or your Google My Business page is certainly going to help. The third component here, the third factor, is responsiveness. A lot of people I talk to don't realize this, but this plays a big factor in terms of your ranking as well. Responsiveness, meaning when somebody searches you online, okay, and you do show up. Desiree, I'll get to your question in just a second. Responsiveness, so when someone taps the number, okay, they're searching on their mobile device, Virginia Beach realtor, okay, and then you pop up and they click the call button on your Google My Business listing. We want to make sure we're answering that, right? So that is something Google does look at, is the responsiveness when people are calling on your listing. And I don't mean house listing, I mean Google My Business page listing, that you're responding to it, okay, and you're answering it. There is analytics that powers this on the back end, so Google does look at how many people are visiting your Google My Business page. When they click on the call button, are you picking it up? Okay. A couple questions here. Is it possible to add video reviews to your Google Business site? So there, you can't in the traditional area of leaving reviews. That's all just content based, meaning that it's somebody, they go there and they write a review. But there are Google Business sites on the back end that you can actually create a video and add it. So it's kind of the answer is yes or no, or yes and no, really. You can't ask for video testimonials, but there is a Google site option that you can create for your business and stick video testimonials on there. You're welcome. How do we prevent a number of these calls from appearing as spam? Well, so that really, a lot of times that's going to depend on your service provider as well. I guess we'd have to, if you have them coming in if your cell phone number is tied into your Google My Business page and they're clicking call on that, they should generate directly in as, I know there's a lot of those scam likely calls that are going on out there. But for the most part, if they're not spam, if they're a local, consumer prospect, then that should go in just fine. So we can certainly talk about that afterwards, Ryan. I might have some other suggestions for you to weed that out. I think Google is improving the way that they can weed out a lot of those spam calls where you actually have to, I don't know, now they're kind of piloting some things where even as a business owner, if you want to improve your Google presence, you can, you have to get authorized. There's some sort of authorization that you go through, and I don't know if it's fully launched yet, but what happens is you actually have to specify the reason that you're making the outbound call. So and I don't know, again, if it's going on now yet or what the timeline is, but you'll begin to see a phone call coming in and the reason for that call would show up on your phone device. Okay, so the business, before actually making contact with you, you'll see the reason that they are actually phoning you. But good question, Ryan. We can certainly parking lot that for after to kind of, figure out how to weed out some of those spam numbers. But again, a lot of that really depends too on your, cell phone carrier as well. So three big R's right there: radius, reviews, and responsiveness. Key factors in terms of determining your placement in Google My Business. All right, so let's get started. For those who, we can kind of take this two ways. We'll kind of run through some of the beginning steps because I know a lot of you guys have already done this, so we won't spend a whole bunch of time on this. We'll get to sort of the optimization side and management and upkeep. So we can, again, two ways. One, you can follow along. All right, I have some screenshots here on the right side of each slide that you can take a look. If again, this is for those who have not created a profile before, where to go, how to get started, with your Google My Business page. All right. Or you can just kind of, jot this down. I'll certainly send these slides out afterwards. And you can kind of, go from there to get set up. All right. So first step, you're going to log into Google account. You do need a Google account for this to create your Google My Business page. You're going to go over to account.google.com. Okay, to create your business listing. All right. So business.google.com/create. Once you're logged into Google, or if you have to create an account, go ahead and do that. Get that done first, and then you're going to go over to business.google.com/create to get started, or to just go ahead and for those who already have created one, to get in there to start managing your account. One of the things I always advise for those who haven't, download the mobile app. All right, the Google My Business mobile app. It's got some great additional features compared to your desktop app or just logging in through your laptop. So take a look at that. Download the mobile app as well, just for some other analytical information and things like that. Now, when you guys go through the process, one of the first steps is going to be to verify your Google My Business page. All right, Google's not just going to allow anybody to launch a business and put in just a random address that you don't have access to, right? So you're going to need to have some type of address that is verifiable. Okay, like I said a few moments ago, that's most likely going to be your say your office address or the brokerage that you're part of. You could input your address there. All right. Definitely, I don't advise your personal address, right? So so you're going to want to choose an address for that for the verification. And then your business name. Okay. So what I always say is, make sure that when you do type in, and Google does ask as you're going through these prompts for your business name, make sure, we'll get into what I call NAP formula, name, address, profile, or name, address, phone, or name and place, what we call it, is make sure that that is consistent across the board. And what I mean by that is, most of us have Facebook business pages. All right. Let's say that our Facebook name was Facebook for our business. Okay. I'm not talking about our personal. Facebook.com/Mike Jones Realtor. Okay. Or Facebook.com/Mike Jones Sells VB. All right. Whatever that name is on Facebook or YouTube channel or Instagram handle or anything like that, Twitter handle, make sure that you're using the same consistent naming convention, even when you're creating your Google My Business page. So your Google My Business page, Mike Jones Realtor, right? Or Mike Jones Sells VB, or whatever that might be. All right. That just helps Google kind of, build that connection between all of your profiles, and there's that consistency component, right? So definitely keep that in mind when you're building out your Google My Business page, making sure that the name is consistent with your social media and all the other stuff. Maybe even your domain name, MikeJonesSellsVB.com, right? The more closely tied you can keep those, the better Google's going to build that relationship, and in turn develop your overall visibility. Another thing I want to add before we go to the next screen here, this is important because there's a lot of agents out there, and there's also a lot of agents part of the same brokerage. All right, so you guys might say, well, Matt, I have the same address as Billy Bob over here, and Sue and all these guys. Well, how do we ensure that there's no, duplication, right? So, the big thing when I tell agents is and to add to that, your brokerage at the brokerage level, like for instance, here at Swell Real Estate, we have our main Swell Real Estate Google My Business page, right? But we also have over 100 other agents with us that are working on building out their own Google My Business page. So if, let's say, we're at our Kempsville office and we have agents that are assigned to our Kempsville office, they use that Kempsville office, all right, address. Well, that's say 20, 30, 40 plus agents that are using the same address. Now, what you want to do and what I advise getting away from that, because Google doesn't want to see multiple businesses using the same address. And that's what we are. We're all multiple businesses. We're all multiple business owners. So what the kind of workaround to that is, in any type of service related business, you know, your attorneys out there, your insurance agents out there, us as real estate agents or realtors, is to, when you're putting in your business name, okay, the name of your business, when you go through this step, leave out your brokerage name, okay, meaning just put in your first name, last name, followed by realtor, whatever your naming convention is. All right. So if I'm Mike Jones and I'm with, let's say I'm with Swell Real Estate Co. Okay. I'm going to probably put in Mike Jones, comma, realtor, or Mike Jones, real estate agent, or Mike Jones sells VB. Okay. Just leave it as simple as that. All right. The moment you put in your brokerage in the same line, well, that's going to begin to cause confusion with Google as far as, you know, okay, well, is this Mike Jones or is this Swell? Or they have the same address, and it causes this confusion, right? But you can create and separate out, and that's actually what Google advises directly for our industry. All right, is to just make sure we're leaving out any identification as far as you're still going to disclose your brokerage, right? And that's going to be in your Google My Business page, but in your title, in the name of your business, when they say find and manage your business, that's where you're going to input. I would just leave out any naming of your brokerage, Berkshire Hathaway, Howard Hanna, Rosen Womble. Just put your first name, last name, or whatever your naming convention is, and that's gonna help cause less confusion really to Google when they see, okay, well, Swell has this address, okay, and it says Swell Real Estate Co., 810 Kempsville Road, but then Mike Jones came in and he also has 810 Kempsville Road, but his name is Mike Jones Realtor, okay? So they're going to treat those differently, and that's what we want. All right, so back on building your profile. All right, when we get to the next step here, categories and subcategories, certainly want to put these in. Real estate agency is usually one of the first ones I add. Okay. What I've seen is Google local and organic searches seem to favor ranking agencies over agents. Okay. They kind of give more weight to the agency. So when you're setting up your profile and you put in your category, subcategory, I would do real estate agency. Okay. You'll see here in the bottom right screen where you can select that. Of course, real estate agents, and then real estate consultant. All right, so I believe you can add up to 3 categories or subcategories in this specific case. Those will be what I would include. Service areas. All right, so where are you serving customers? How far are you willing to go? All right, so you can list as many that are applicable, okay, in your case. So the next screen, where do you service? You can just type in if you Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Hampton Road, or Hampton, Newport News, Suffolk, you know, wherever you're willing to go, you can put that in. Again, back to what I was saying a couple minutes ago, it's not going to give you, if you're based in Virginia Beach, don't expect you're going to be coming up all the time, if at all, at much, when somebody's in Newport News looking for an agent, even though you specify Newport News in your service covering for geographical reasons. Again, they're going to look at that address, but it still does help. It still does help, because when consumers go there and see, okay, you do also cover that area, that can help with your click through and hopefully conversion. All right. Next step is you're going to put in your address. I always say ensure it's consistent character for character across the web, back to NAP, meaning name, address, and phone number. All right. When you're putting in your address, look at what you have your address in and on, say, Zillow or Facebook or your website. All right. And what I mean by that, let's say you're in an office suite. Okay. Your brokerage is an office suite, or you're an office suite. And it's 810 Kempsville Road unit. There's many different variations we can go here. Okay. 810 Kempsville Road, Unit 5. Okay, 810 Kempsville Road, STE 5. 810 Kempsville Road, Suite, spelled out, SUIT, the number 5. All right. As silly as it sounds, Google hasn't still, I mean, they can still build some connection there for the most part, but you want to make it easy on them finding you. All right. And so one of the things that I always encourage doing is making sure when you are putting that address in, it's character for character. It's the same across the entire web. So if you look on your Facebook page and in your address, it has Suite spelled out, SUITE. Okay, do the same thing when you're putting in your address in Google My Business. And we'll get into NAP here here shortly as well. Phone number. All right. You know, a lot of agents use their cell number, and that's fine. You know, you could also consider getting a number more for marketing purposes to kind of track attribution and set up routing rules. Grasshopper is a good one for this, so you can, you know, see you know, how they're reaching you. And if you set up a phone number that's built around this, then you know, okay, this number's ringing. We know it's coming from Google My Business. All right, website. Google My Business pulls a lot of your information, okay, from your main website. All right, so you have to look at your website as well. Everything on your site should match what's on Zillow, Yelp, and across the website or across the web. One of the things that I like to do is make sure that you're including your social media links, okay, in the header footer of your website as well. All right. Google begins to kind of, you know, create, they bring up these profile links. All right. And they start to build that connection again and form those associations when they can see, okay, your Facebook links to this website, you know, your website links to this Instagram or Twitter, you know, which also goes back to your Google My Business. So there's a lot of stuff out there online, of course, and especially as agents in this business. And so we want to be conscious of, you know, linking back and forth with each one of our outlets. And so, you know, that'll again help Google build the connection about you and your business. Yeah, just a reminder, everybody, just make sure you mute yourself, just out of respect of everybody else on here. You can also add in an appointments tool. So, and as I'm going through this, guys, a lot of times we create these profiles and we put in, you know, our name and we fill out a bit of our contact information and we might upload a cool little picture of ourselves, right? And then we kind of set it and forget it, or we move on because it was just something we knew we had to do. So we did it. And we didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. If you really want to fully maximize your visibility online and with Google My Business, Google looks at all this stuff. All right. So try not to, there might be some stuff that you leave blank. Oh, excuse me. Make sure that they're supplying you with all these areas of content and things to fill out for a reason. They want to find out more about you and your business. And the more that you can fill out, the better your visibility is going to be, the more that they're going to favor you. All right. So when I go through some of these things, you might say, well, Matt, you know, I don't really have an appointments tab or anything like that, or no need for it. You know, go to Calendly. Calendly, I know a lot of us know about it, calendly.com. It gives your clients a peek of your schedule and availability if they want to, you know, set up a phone call or anything like that. And so Google gives you the option here where they can actually go to your Google My Business page and set up a direct appointment. So it's pretty convenient. Maybe if they don't want to call you right away, all right, but they see that you have a an appointment tool and there's your link, they click on that and they can see, okay, well, Matt has availability Friday at 1, 3, and 5, or, you know, maybe for a quick phone call or anything like that. So, so I certainly encourage you guys to, if you don't have it, Calendly is a popular one. There's other scheduling tools out there too, but make sure you fill that out. Business description, okay, short name. We talked about this a few moments ago too, as far as making sure that you're matching your business name across, you know, that it's consistent with all your other social media profiles. You enter your official opening date. Okay, so when you actually launched your business, when you became licensed or started selling real estate. And then a business description. And this is a great opportunity, guys, for you to build in, I know most of us, we're agents, right? We don't like to write, but, I think there's this, Google gives us some opportunity here to put together a nice business description. Maybe you already have one written for your website, and you have the ability to insert targeted keywords. Okay. I'm Mike Jones. I've been serving Virginia Beach and the surrounding areas and helping people buy and sell homes for 15 years. Okay. Just by integrating some of those local keywords in that one sentence, and then also selling homes, buying and selling homes, Virginia Beach, Virginia, Google looks at that. They're pulling all that information together. So when somebody is online looking for somebody to help them sell their home or help them buy a home in Virginia Beach, they're going to look at your profile. They're going to see those keywords in your bio and in your description. So yes, certainly write your bio for the consumer so they know more about you, but also keep Google in your back mind too when you're doing that, and making sure that you're also implementing keywords in that business description that that are relevant, or that are keywords that you think that your consumers out there are searching for, that you want to make sure that you're popping up for. All right, so we got that set up. Listing management and upkeep. All right, we have our business profile set up, our Google My Business page. Of course, those who just started or starting today, your hands are going to be tied for a bit until you get your verification done. A lot of times that's going to be done through good old regular mail, right? So you're gonna have to wait for a postcard to come out. And in that postcard, make sure you put attention, your name. So your office manager or front desk sees that when it comes in, they can alert you, because you're going to need that postcard. In that postcard, it's a pin, and in that pin, with that pin, you'll be able to log back in and verify your listing, but it won't be active until that's done. All right. So some listing management and upkeep things. All right. We want to continuously add to our business profile. So those who have one already. All right. Reviews we talked about. Now, one of the things I always encourage too, and I know a lot of agents with tons of reviews, great reviews out there, 10, 15, 20, 50, 75 plus I've seen in reviews, and that's great. Kudos to you. Keep it up. But what I would advise is many of those I see, they're not responded to. Right. We get all, we're excited. We got a great review from a customer or a client. But what I would always do is make sure you're responding to them as well. Okay. They leave you a 5-star review, put some good content, and we're kind of like, okay, great.
Okay.
But also get in the habit of responding, thanks, Ed. I appreciate it and enjoyed working with you through the transaction. All the best in your new home. All right. So, make sure, because Google does look at that as well. I mean, the reviews for sure, but also get in the habit of responding to those. And I'm not just talking about positive, also negative reviews too. I know, some of us have been in that situation, and we'll get into handling those here in just a bit.
Have a good day.
Reminder, mute guys. Upload photos. Okay. Google has the opportunity there to upload photos to your business page. All right. Now, one of the things that you can do, and Google's kind of up in the air about this, there are some other services that we can look into, but there is a link, GeoImager. All right. GeoImgr.com. Okay. GeoImgr.com. And what you can do is, when you have photos, all right, and you're taking photos out there, you can go to that site and you can geotag your images. All right. Let's say you take a picture of a listing in Virginia Beach, maybe more specifically, I don't know, again, we're talking about Kempsville, the Kempsville area. All right. And what you can do is you can basically tag that photo with that area. All right. And that'll help with your overall general SEO too, wherever you're uploading these photos, because these other services, they look at that, they see the photo. All right. But then more specifically, how do they read that photo? How do they know where that's based? And they look at that, and they look at that area, or however you geotag that photo. Okay. With targeted keywords, right? When we talk about SEO. So that's just a good way to increase the visibility of your photographs out there as well. You know, especially with people now, they're searching all different types of ways. They're going to the video section to look at videos. They're going to the photos section to look at photos. And this helps with your overall ranking. One of the most underutilized tools of Google My Business, I think, is the post feature. We get in the habit all the time when we think posts, we think Facebook, right? You know, I think continue to do that, even though I think there's a lot that can be done with getting more creative with a lot of the posts that are being published out there, specifically us as agents. It's kind of the same old, same old. But that's kind of a training for a different day. I think with Google My Business, I don't see enough agents using the post tool. All right. And I don't mean, reinventing the wheel here. You can even take a post that you put on Facebook. All right. And kind of, turn it up a little bit or mix it up and put that as a post or publish that as a post on your Google page. All right. Google does offer that ability. All right. So if you want to publish a post, it also does favor recency. All right. So that's a good idea. Maybe if you're holding an open house this weekend, I know open houses are kind of slowly coming back. I mean, still kind of a pretty crazy market for them, but you can post a reminder or an event coming up, maybe a home seller seminar or anything like that. Use Google My Business posts for that opportunity. All right. Because again, when searches are being conducted on Google, they're going to look at the recency of these posts and they're going to sometimes display that based on the relevancy of the search. All right. So that's certainly an underutilized feature on Google My Business. And so definitely look at that. Got a question here. I know you can post, but I've never done it. Can you post articles like links to articles or no? Yeah, absolutely. You can put in outbound URLs or links in that post. I would caution just putting in the link, but put in like a quick blurb or message on what that link's going to, and you can write it up and then just put the link at the bottom of your post there. All right. Products. There's a products tab too. Some of y'all might say, well, Matt, I'm not selling t-shirts or anything. I'm selling real estate and I don't really look as much of a house as a product. We don't, but it really is, right? And so what I encourage is still, us in this space, use the products tab. Again, the more meat that we're giving Google to use, the better our overall presence. So in the add product, when you go to the products tab on the left side, I mean, some things that you can put in, maybe you get a new listing, go there and put in your new listing. All right. You can input listings. Maybe you're doing some upcoming webinars on demand, a home buyer's webinar, a seller's webinar, anything. Right. Estate planning, kind of have some examples here. So yeah, use that. Use that product tool because again, Google certainly gives weight to relevancy and recency. So if you're continuously updating, maybe with new listings or maybe trainings or things that you're doing, client appreciation events, I mean, put it in there, right? You might not think of it traditionally as a product, right? But it does work. And that's what they want you to do. They want you to continuously expand your service offerings in there. So definitely look at doing that and using that feature. Adding and answering questions. All right. What I always advise agents here at our brokerage, I would say, hey, look, put together, write up a list of frequently asked questions. You hear them all the time, right? There's many facts out there in this space. Clients are asking, they're asking over and over that, many different clients are asking the same questions. Go ahead and add these questions in your Google My Business profile, and it just gives you another option or another way to integrate your targeted keywords. We talked about it when creating your bio description, all right, how we can integrate these keywords. Again, it provides you more real estate space to incorporate these targeted keywords in. So, think of some frequently asked questions, add them in as questions in your Google My Business page. put in the answer to those questions. All right. And then of course, keep in the back of your mind, Google and integrating those targeted keywords. So that's kind of the Google My Business section. All right. And we're going to wrap up with some local SEO tips that I have. Now with the Google My Business page, like I said, there, you know, if you have the verification process you have to go through, it's probably going to take 5 to 7 business days or so to get that started. But for those that already have a page in place, run with it and use some of those ideas that I've inserted or given to you to help further optimize it. All right, just a quick reminder, guys, make sure you're muted.
Uh-huh.
All right, everybody's muted. So the first one, create a business or Google My Business page listing. We already did that, right? We talked about ways to increase our presence. We talked about location authority in comparison to SEO. The things that we should be doing on our Google My Business page to show up when somebody's typing in looking for a realtor in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Okay, what are we doing? It is all Google is pulling that information primarily from your Google My Business listing. So again, it's highly important that we have that in place and optimized, right? So not just creating the shell of it or the core, but going steps and beyond, filling out all of the features that that Google has to offer us to fill out. Now, some other, we got a question, Tina, sorry to go back. Where do I update my Calendly link on my Google page? There's an appointment section in there, Tina. There should be an appointment tab. I can just ring me or shoot me a text after this and I'll point you to it. You know, I got you, girl. All right, so other directories. We think about Facebook, we think about LinkedIn, we just talked about Google Local. There are hundreds of other business directories that we want to make sure our business is listed in out there on the web. You might say, well, Matt, you know, I'm looking at these right now and my customers don't go there. Why are they going to go to Easy Local and try and find an agent, right? It's not as much about generating traffic, guys, as it is as much telling Google more about us, which in turn helps our visibility and ranking. So it's highly important we get listed in some of these. Some of the big ones, there's a whole bunch, but some of the big ones that I want to make sure you guys get listed in are Yelp. All right. I'm sure most of us have heard Yelp, or that yappy sales guy that never stops calling us to sell us ads. But Yelp is certainly, there is a free, and these are all free. Okay, you can go there and create a free business listing on. All right, and again, we're using the same naming conventions just like when we set up our Google My Business page. All right, keeping that consistency with our business name, with our telephone number, with our suite number, all that stuff. Everything is consistent across the board when you're going through these sites. All right, Yahoo. Angie's List is another good one. Foursquare. This was one like 10 years ago when it popped. It had like a good 1 month run, it seems, but it's still out there and it still carries a lot of good weight with Google. All right, and the other search engines. Bing Places. This will be a key one. We'll talk about it here in just a second when it comes to voice search. YP.com. That's the online yellow pages. Hot Frog. Best of the Web. All right, and then you might even find directories that are more specifically maybe to your neighborhood or to you on a more local basis in your area. You know, there's some opportunities out there, so it doesn't just have to be general. All right, number 3. All right, for top local SEO tips, NAP. I talked about this before. Name, address, phone number. Some refer to it as name and place. Okay, but making sure it's correct. So while you're creating these business listings, you know, make sure your info is correct. If all of your listings have your correct information, it's easy for Google to trust them, right? So same information on your website as on your Facebook, as on your YouTube page, as on your Google My Business page, as on Zillow, right? Everywhere is the same. It's all consistent. if there are discrepancies, Google has no way of knowing which is the correct information, right? So what's more, not only must your NAP info be correct, but it must also be consistent. At this point, Google still doesn't handle variations like avenue versus avenue as in AVE period, right? So abbreviated. And it might take it for differing information, right? So again, seems silly, but that's just the reality. All right. And it helps them identify, just make it easy on them. That's what we're trying to do. Therefore, keep your NAP info completely the same if possible. Okay. Got a question. You mentioned Google Local. Is that what Google My Business is now called, or is it Google Local something different? Yes. So Google Local and Google My Business are pretty interchangeable. Google My Business is what powers your Google Local presence. Good question. All right, number 4, target local keywords. All right. So keyword variations, keep in mind. Okay. Let's say again, we're in Virginia Beach. We might look at keywords that we're targeting. Again, we're trying to think, put ourselves in our consumer shoes or our prospect shoes and think about what are they searching for? What are keywords that I want to make sure my business is showing up for? All right. Virginia Beach realtor, Virginia Beach real estate agent, realtor, Virginia Beach, home for sale, Virginia Beach homes for sale. These are all different keyword variations we want to keep in mind. Okay. All different ways. People are searching all different ways nowadays. Also think hyperlocal. I preach this a lot to our agents here at Swell, is think hyperlocal. Okay. Yes, we all want to be found for when somebody goes to Google and types in Virginia Beach real estate agent or Virginia Beach homes for sale. All right. And that's good. But, that's also extremely competitive. And when you go there and you look at some of the big names that are showing up, there might be some local firms or local agents showing up. Most of the time it's because they're paying, right? They're showing up in the paid ads section, but in the general organic section where they're not paying for, you're up against some big weight, right? You're up against the Zillows, the Realtors, the homes.com. I mean, some of those sites. All right. You're going to be spinning your wheels for some time trying to outrank those guys. So what I always advise is think more specific. I'd rather show up on page 1 for homes for sale, Kempsville, Virginia Beach, that might get 15 searches per month or 25 or whatever it is, compared to showing up back on page 29 for Virginia Beach homes for sale, right? So again, think hyper local. I think that's again, people nowadays, these longer tail keywords, they're thinking more specifically in what they want, right? Kellam homes for sale with a pool, right? Waterfront homes for sale, Chicks Beach. I mean, there's just all, these are the longer tail keywords. This is what you want to spend most of your time focused on, because again, and you look at the traffic that comes through, but really your conversion rate. If you bring somebody in that is searching for those specific items with the local intent, so the area that they're looking for, specifically drilled down beyond Virginia Beach, down into the neighboring levels or subdivisions, things like that. But then also, are they looking for a brick ranch? Are they looking for a home with a pool in the backyard? Are they looking for waterfront? Are they looking to be on a golf course, right? These are all hyper local specific keywords that we want to focus on. Did you mention to use the whole word like avenue or use the abbreviated word AVE? So back to that question again, it really doesn't matter what you use as long as you're using it the same across all of your digital properties. So if you decide to use AVE, okay, 123 avenue, okay, make sure you're using that the same way in the same format on your other sites. Another thing to look at sometimes if you're saying, well, Matt, what keywords should I look at targeting? One of my quick things to look at is Google Suggest. We've all been there. If we start performing a search on Google, Google starts suggesting keywords that we're typing in, okay, to kind of finish off the keyword. So go there and start typing in. I go to Google, type in Norfolk homes for sale. Then maybe after that, put in with, WITH, and see what comes up. Okay, it might have, again, with a pool or with a big backyard or whatever. All right, there's many different variations as we've indicated. But looking at that, Google isn't just suggesting random search queries. They're suggesting because those specific keywords that are populating because of search volume. All right, they're getting a high number of inquiries for these specific keywords, so that can give you a quick little idea as to what keywords to target. Or you can also use a keyword volume tool. If you guys hit me up, I can certainly send you in the right direction there. For the keyword variations and hyperlocal, is this words to put in our business description? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you definitely want to sprinkle them in. Don't what we call keyword stuff. You know, so don't just pick a whole bunch of keywords and then just throw them in your business description. Obviously, still write them for your consumer so it flows. But yeah, definitely integrate and work those keywords in. All right, for your business description, on your website, you know, places like that is where you want to include these terms. All right, number 5. Optimize your site with local keywords. Actually go off what I just said there. You know, so once you have a list of local keywords that you've come up for, areas you're trying to target or homes you want to focus on, we want to optimize our website. We're not going to go into this too much here. This is probably a separate training I'll do at some point. You know, but based on your website, I know some of us use maybe KV Core, Real Geeks, Boomtown. I mean, there's a lot of real estate specific website platforms out there. You're going to have to look at what SEO capabilities that your website platform offers. You definitely want to find a platform that is SEO friendly, that allows you to do these things. Because as somebody just asked, where do you implement these keywords? Well, this is where you implement them, not just on your Google My Business page, not just, you know, in a blog post or on your Facebook or anything like that. There's areas on your website, headings, title tags, description, body, footer, that you can also work these keywords in. So I would check with your website provider and see what type of SEO capabilities they have for you to plug these keywords into. Create local content. All right, so most content marketing strategies focus on non-local content. They're much broader. This might net you a wider audience and higher traffic levels, but if you're locally focused business, which we are as agents, this isn't going to help you. So if you want to maximize your content marketing efforts for enhanced lead gen, it's essential that you also create this type of local content. What I mean by content is maybe drawing up a post about the top 10 things to do when visiting Virginia Beach, right? Maybe take out your iPhone or your Android and go explore a neighborhood, right? Put a neighborhood tour video together. Put a quick blurb out on the best hiking trails on the peninsula, right? These are just some very light ideas, but that's kind of the idea. Start thinking local. And again, it gives you the opportunity to build in these targeted keywords. People find this content by searching, and then you can lead them into your website or lead them into your profile or wherever your landing page is. Number 7, optimize for mobile. All right, so according to stats, 30% of all mobile searches are location related. This is a significant number, and it means that a lot of consumers who find you on local search, or of course they're on their mobile device, right? They're performing that search directly on their iPhone or Android. If your site does not display well on mobile, or there are navigation issues, this isn't going to look good. It's going to cause people to go there and bounce off right away. That creates an alarming, what we call bounce rate, meaning Google sees, okay, people are going to Mike Jones's website, but for some odd reason, they're leaving right away. Something's wrong. All right. That creates a high bounce rate. Bounce rates aren't good. If it's a high number for Google, they see that, they devalue your site or your listing. All right, so do yourself a favor every once in a while, go onto your website from a mobile device and see what it looks like. Most of the web platforms out there are already pretty optimized for mobile, which is good, but it's always good to just, you know, be sure and see what's going on or how it looks. Number 8, optimize for voice. Something a lot of us don't think about right now, but it's certainly gaining speed. More and more people are getting lazier, right? So they're just speaking directly into their phone. They don't want to type, and that's cool. All right, that's okay. And so, but as agents, we want to make sure, well, What does that mean? How do I optimize my website for voice? How do I make sure when people are putting in into their Alexa or speaking in or into their Google Assistant or whatever, that I'm showing up? All right. Research shows that mobile voice searches are 300% more likely to have local intent than text searches. All right. So again, when they're speaking in, when they're using voice, a lot of them have local intent behind them. It's still relatively in early days in the voice search era. Many agents have not yet optimized their site and content for voice. So this is giving you guys the opportunity to get ahead of the pack a little bit here, especially as we continue to go into 2022, 2023. It's going to be a new ball game. So it's good to kind of to start running for King of the Hill now and do the legwork now to get ahead. This little graph over here talks about the what the search market share looks like now for voice. Google Assistant and Apple Siri take most of the pie. Amazon Alexa 25%, Microsoft Cortana 19% for Microsoft users. So to kind of give you an idea, a couple of these platforms. So Siri, we're all very familiar with Siri, iPhone users. When somebody uses Siri and they speak in Virginia Beach homes for sale or find me a local realtor, all right, where Siri's going for that information is Apple Maps Connect. All right, and if you see on the bottom for any agents on that are with Swell, we're gonna have a upcoming training on this here shortly. I'll fill you guys in and we'll do one here soon because this is a training for a whole nother day. But it is something that is very important, especially for our marketing. I want you guys to get ahead of the game here. Siri is Apple Maps Connect. Okay, so you can actually go on, find yourself on Google or Apple Maps Connect and get set up there and claim your listing. But that's where Siri is finding that content in order to show their voice user and serve them back with the most relevant data or relevant information or relevant realtor in this case. Google Assistant uses Google My Business. So we've talked most of this training on Google My Business. So you're good there for the most part. Continue to optimize your Google My Business. Anybody that's doing a search with Google Assistant voice, that's where Google Assistant is going to look for their information, is from your Google My Business page. Alexa uses Yelp. Okay. Again, I mentioned Yelp a few slides ago. If you hate Yelp or you're not a fan of it, or you just don't know much of Yelp, you don't have a listing, I encourage you to go there, make sure you have a Yelp profile. Even in just the case of this, when somebody's using Alexa for voice search, Alexa is going to look at Yelp and your profile information there and your rankings in order to serve them with the most relevant, result. Yext is yext.com. If you're a Yext customer, they actually push it out directly for you. And then Microsoft Cortana, I mentioned Bing Places a few slides ago when you're building out your business listing. Microsoft gets it from Bing Places. So again, a whole nother side that you have to look at doing. Bing Places, you can go there, create a listing, verify, and start getting to work on that too. All right, number 9, as we kind of wrap it up, a few more left here. Take time to build inbound links. All right, so building backlinks isn't a plug and play activity, but there are a few tried and tested methods you can implement. And what I mean by this, guys, when I talk about inbound links, when somebody goes on to Google and performs a search, they're doing this quick millisecond query of their database and index of all these different, I mean, there's hundreds and trillion, I mean, there's tons of information on the web. We know that. So they have to think about that, right? In a split millisecond, what is the most relevant listing or piece of information that they can supply back to their customer that's searching on google.com. And a lot of times they look at things like this. Inbound linking is big. Okay. They might see, okay, well, we have all these different sites that are linking back to Mike Jones's website or his listing. That says a lot about Mike Jones, right? You got all these different websites and they're linking back to his home page or a specific page on his site or wherever. So all these different websites out there, that's going to help if you can generate these inbound links. One of the methods is contacting people in your industry with you might have a relationship with, maybe another business colleague, or in real estate, we have a lot of preferred vendors. okay, your preferred insurance person, or, you know, your local roofer, if they have a website, go on there and see if you can get a link pointing back to your website. Maybe if they can create like a preferred tab on their website, and then maybe under there they have preferred agents or preferred realtor, and then you can stick a link to your website in this case. So contractors, suppliers, distributors, neighboring businesses, partners, wholesalers, you can make a list of these businesses, and then optimize your process by searching for pages on their sites where you could place a contextual link. Okay, so from here, you can contact the businesses on your list and suggest the link placements. All right, so again, you know, maybe going on their website and, hey, John, you know, I see you run a roofing business here in town. You got a page on there for partners, or I was just curious, I'm looking to build out my network. You know, I got a great website I'd love to use, or for you to use as a resource for maybe people that go to your website. You know, is there any way that maybe we can get a link placed on your site? And that'll be helpful. So especially when you're building your, you know, networking and all that, see about that that link placement if you can get a link on their site. Number 10, look into location/city pages. This is very important, especially when we're talking about back to when we build out our Google My Business page and we can only put in one specific address. All right, well, we're in Virginia Beach, but we also are willing to service Suffolk. But Matt, I only have an address for Virginia Beach. How can I generate some business and people search for Suffolk homes? Okay, this is how you can do it. This is kind of a workaround. What I would say on, you know, a lot of times we have our main homepage on our website. Okay, you can build out specific city pages, almost kind of like landing pages. All right, and again, for us here at Swell, I'm going to be doing a training on this here soon. Is building out separate, more granular pages specific to each one of these cities. Okay, you have your main homepage, okay, MikeJonesSellsVB.com or MikeJonesRealtor.com or whatever, and they go there and they have the ability to search. But you know, there's a lot going on a homepage, especially in real estate, right? There's a lot of different avenues somebody can go down. There's no one specific you know, area maybe that you focus on your homepage. You're kind of leaving it up to, it's very general. Okay, there's a lot of platforms. Sierra is a good one for those on here that use Sierra. They have the ability to build out city pages for you, location pages, very SEO friendly. So again, creating a page on your site that if it's based on Suffolk, there's no mention of Virginia Beach in there, right? It's all information and content related to Suffolk. Okay, you know, top 10 things to do in Suffolk, right? Or you know, the best hiking trails that we talked about, some of these examples, listings that are specifically in Suffolk. I mean, everything that is built around that page is built around, again, Suffolk in this case. And so we're generating this content on that specific city. All right, so that's certainly going to help you guys out when it comes to showing up for those city related searches, looking to buy a home in Suffolk, Virginia. Okay, even though you're based in Virginia, or Virginia Beach, these city pages are certainly they're gonna help you increase your visibility for those. Those guys that just hopped on, please make sure you mute yourself there. All right, number 11, manage your reviews. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Positive reviews are inarguably good for your business rep. Okay, we know that helps create more phone calls. People we build that trust, right? They also boost your authority, right, in Google's eyes. On the other hand, bad reviews can negatively impact how Google displays your listing and site pages in search. Sometimes these are inevitable. Okay, we have you know, we deal with a bad client, you know, something goes awry, and it is what it is. I mean, it's a service-based business. So these sometimes pop up. What I always say though is, back to even responding to positive reviews, you got to respond to the negative reviews. There's nothing worse than somebody coming across your business page, see a negative review on there, okay, and they wrote this content 1 star, and then crickets after that. There's no response from you on your end. So most of the time you can't get rid of these reviews. All right, you can flag them. There's a process, kind of long to go through, but you know, if there's a bad review, there's a bad review. You can only decide, well, how are you going to handle that? Accept it, answer it, okay, in the most professional manner that you can, professional manner, right, that you can. This is the internet. Everything we write, it's stuck, it's public out there now. So be careful with what you post, but respond in the most professional manner, and just get back to that person, answer that review. And honestly, it also gives you the opportunity to incorporate more of your targeted keywords in your response. Okay, it's just giving you more opportunity to build good content. All right, and then the last one here as we wrap it up, don't just focus on local SEO. All right, look at traditional. Again, we talk about location authority when it comes to building our local profile. We talk about main general SEO, search engine optimization, the organic SERPs. SERP stands for search engine result page. Okay, and that just means when you go to Google and type a keyword, what does that search landscape look like? What does your screen look like? Who is showing up consistently? Okay. So a lot of the components of traditional SEO can actually derail local SEO if they're not implemented. So all the stuff that we talked about today, this is local, right? But then we also talk about more traditional SEO, what we're doing on our website to incorporate those keywords. Page speed optimization. Okay, that's a key player in general SEO. So if a consumer lands on your website, say through like a local search, but the page doesn't load or it's taken a while, again, they're going to bounce right off. Okay, that's going to create, again, higher bounce rates. And Google's going to look, they always analyze page speed too, to look at, you know, the optimization. At the end of the day, Google doesn't really care as much about you. They care about their consumer, the people going to Google, to serve them with the most relevant content, the most ease of use content. They don't want to serve them with a website that has a low page speed, right? Or with a ton of images that it's taken a while to load, or any of this other stuff, right? So we talk about general SEO. It's something we don't want to leave behind. Again, we want to think local, right? Google My Business. But again, traditional SEO, general SEO does play a big effect too. All right, so that's what I got, guys. I hope you all took some good stuff away from this. We talked about the Google My Business, and then of course the local SEO tips that kind of go in hand with that. I want to leave it up if for any questions. I'll probably stay on here for just a couple more minutes for any questions. If anybody has anything, if you want to send in the chat on anything that we've covered or anything just in general, I'd be happy to answer for you. So I'll leave that open here in just a minute. Any questions, you can email info@growagentgrow.com for anything specific. Team will be happy to get back to you and answer anything that you have, any services that you're interested in or whatnot. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you got a lot to take away from it. But with all that being said, I'll leave it open for any questions here. If you guys want to write in the message box, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
I have another question for you, Matt.
Yeah, Tina, what's up?
How do you is there a way to add your Zillow reviews to your Google reviews?
Unfortunately, you can't, Tina. What I say is, so I know sometimes you got to kind of backtrack a bit if you have reviews maybe on your Zillow or Facebook. There's no direct sync between the two. Probably the most convenient thing that I've done, or making it convenient for your past clients, is email them. Let's say that they wrote you a review on Zillow and it's live and published, and you're trying to get your stuff on Google. Include a link. So write them an email, or even send them like a text. And in that text, I would go to Zillow, copy and paste the exact review that they left you, and then include that in the email and say, hey, Sue, it's Tina Maynor. Wanted to say, hey, I'm kind of working on some business related stuff with my Google business. I appreciate the great review you left me, 2 years ago on Zillow. Do you mind writing that or leaving that also on my Google page? And if you copy and paste that exact same review and then a link to your Google, all they have to do is, it's really they click your Google page. You've already left them, or at a conveniency, the exact review that they left, they just got to copy and paste that into your Google My Business reviews.
When I look at other agents, a few other agents, it says reviews from web. How do they get that on there? You ever seen that? It's under their reviews and it just says reviews from web, and then it'll say Zillow.
So again, there's kind of that cross reference. There's nothing, we can't control that, but that's kind of back to what I was saying earlier. It's building that you want to develop. Yeah. So between, you know, Zillow and Facebook and all these other places, they're starting to see that connection. They know, okay, this agent is connected with this Zillow profile, which is in turn connected with this Facebook. And it's just, so it's building that circle. So yes, that it's not going to happen overnight, but that's just, again, back to building that connection between, or that relationship between all your profiles. Okay. So that's why you're seeing that.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. All right, let's see. We got another question here. How do you put words on videos, as in it shows exactly what you're saying throughout the video, and does that help SEO at all? So great question. So Jen, I think you're referring to the captions. There are some caption tools that I've used where you can upload a video, and I'll have to look. If you send me an email, or you know, I'll be happy to point you in the right direction there. But there are tools that you can use for captions. If you do it on YouTube, like YouTube has some of those auto captions, or they do it for you. The only thing is sometimes they're not extremely or 100% accurate. Okay, so I always advise using a different service for putting these captions together. But yes, on any video content, certainly have captions put together. A lot of people watch videos, maybe they're at work or they're somewhere else where they don't want sound to be on, so they watch those captions. And yes, it does help with SEO, because you're also, if you have that string in, especially I know we're not doing a training on YouTube, but YouTube does have that section where you can sprinkle that in. But that's a whole nother probably topic on optimizing video. You can kind of go beyond captions and what you're doing as far as your other sections of the video that you can input targeted keywords. But yes, that's certainly something you want to make sure that you're including captions on all of your video content. And it does, you know, certainly help or assist with SEO. What's your favorite video editing app or software that helps to take out the ums and stuff like that, quick cuts to make it flow better? I have an Android phone and Microsoft Surface computer. So as far as the flow of the video and cutting stuff like that out, I guess there's two things. So I use a program called Slice on my phone. Let's see if there's a few we use, or not Slice, Splice. Okay, Splice, that's a good app to take a look at. And that can be, you know, you can use that for video editing, and that can kind of chop up, you know, some of the, you know, the oohs and ums and all that stuff to kind of make it flow again, as you're saying. So Splice is certainly a good one. The other one, if you're doing something more extended, there's, I think it's called Big View, BIGV as in Victor, U as in Ulysses. So Big View. And that also has, you can do your video, but then it also has, it's like a teleprompter, right? That shows the content. So you can write your script beforehand and then load it into Big View. And as you're taking a video of yourself, the words come across the screen, right? So you can just speak directly if you have something a little bit longer that you want to speak on. But I would check out Splice. Splice is probably the more user-friendly video editing app or software that I've used. Or at the end of the day too, based on time, if you just don't want to worry about it, use Fiverr. For those who haven't used Fiverr, it's FIVERR.com. So 2 R's on the end, Fiverr.com. And there's a whole bunch of people or contractors that do video editing for extremely cheap. You just have to send them your raw footage. So you go out there, tape a video, find somebody good on Fiverr that can chop up your video, 10, 15, 20 bucks, 25 at the most, you can get some pretty, and still fine quality. I've used them in the past, and just say, here's my raw footage, and I need some help there. So yeah, so that's what I would recommend for that. Any other questions, guys? All right, well, if not, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks again for those who were able to hop on and listen in, and hopefully you got some good stuff from it. Any questions more specific to Grow Agent Grow, definitely email us at info@growagentgrow.com. If you have anything regards to the presentation, any services, you can go to growagentgrow.com too. But yeah, you guys have a good day, and happy spring, and be well, be safe out there.